Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and I am here with another quotation to discuss, give a few of my ideas or my thoughts on this particular quotation. You can give your thoughts down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or you can always email your thoughts as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just push that little button. It's very, very easy. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed and shared videos and commented. I appreciate all of your support. Clicking on the notifications also helps. Uh, Now, the quotation is from George Evans, an American cartoonist, and the quotation is every student can learn, just not on the same day or in the same way. I'm sure lots of people have felt this. I'm sure lots of people would have comments about this particular quotation because it is so true. And it's not just for children, it's for adults as well. All of us learn in a different way. We're not the same individuals. We don't do things the same way. You might have noticed that with your friends or your family. We're not identical. We don't look the same. We don't move the same. We don't act the same. We don't respond emotionally the same to things. We have differences. We have lots of similarities too, but we also have differences. So why should learning be otherwise? Uh, we have each of us has a different approach to learning, and we absorb things differently. I'm using the word different and differently too often, but it's just true. Every student can learn. I believe that. Now, can every student reach the same goal as everyone else? No. But that doesn't mean that they can't learn. And so wherever you are at the moment, you can learn, you can increase your learning, you can learn more and add a little more knowledge. And uh, so I am not going to be an Einstein. I am not going to be a famous doctor or physics professor or, because, well, first of all, I'm not trying. But secondly, I don't think I could achieve that. I don't think that I am the guy cut out for that. However, you never know until you try. And I never knew what I could do in many cases on various jobs that I've had or in education academically until you've tried. Sometimes you go in thinking, oh, I don't know about this course, a chemistry course I took. Oh, I don't know. I'd even promised myself I would drop it before I had to pay the full fee if I couldn't reach a certain level, which was not a very high bar, but it was a bit of a struggle for me because chemistry, although I enjoyed it, it wasn't something I'd done before university. So it was a little bit tricky for me, but I succeeded because I just kept working at it. And I think children and adults can do this. So if you're working with your children, try to think of new ways to approach a question or an assignment if they're having difficulty with it. The teacher will have explained it. Some teachers explain more than one way, but often it's one way for the whole class. They don't have time to explain 15, 20, 30 different ways. So you can try that though if your child doesn't seem to be understanding it, but it also applies to yourself. If you're trying to learn something new, it might not even be academic, it might not even be for school. It could be just for yourself, your own personal development. And you think, I'm not understanding, I'm not getting this, maybe this isn't for me. Try something different. Nowadays, it's so easy too, because with the internet, you can listen to podcasts, read some blogs, look at some videos. Videos are very helpful because often they have images or they even draw out explanations. They show you step by step how to do things. The Khan Academy ones, for example, very, very useful for students in math in particular that I know of. I think they do a lot of other things. I'm just not aware of them, but lots of others do videos on any topic. I think you could probably find. So don't bang your head against the wall. Um, Thinking, just rereading and rereading the exact same explanation. There's other explanations out there. Ask other people as well. Maybe if you're in a class, there's another student who understands the material really well. Ask them to explain it. They may have a totally different way of looking at it than your teacher did. I had when I was in grade 9, yes, they used to have school back in the day, and I was doing an algebra section in math class. I wasn't understanding it. I couldn't seem to figure out what the teacher was talking about. And then she was away. I don't know whether she was ill or some other thing came up, but she was away for a few days. We had another teacher from the school who I'd not had before. I'd seen him, but he normally taught grade 12 and OAC math at that time we had. And he came in to substitute for her, explained the same material in a completely different way, and I just got it immediately. I was like, whoa, what? This is so easy. why, why didn't the other teacher explain it that way? Other people probably understood her method. I understood the way he explained it much, much better. And I know that a few of the other students do because we were talking and saying, wow, that was so easy. How can that be? This is supposed to be difficult. So yeah, definitely try some other methods and keep in mind that we don't all reach the same plateaus, or I shouldn't call it a plateau really, but the same goals or levels at the same time. So sometimes a student is supposed to read at a particular time, supposed to be able to do this a section of math at a particular time. Well, most do. That's why those standards are there, probably, but some don't. And sometimes it's years later that they finally get it. I know people who are out of school and never understood math or some other subject until they either decided they wanted to, and so they either went back to school or they just started learning online, or they have a job where they need to, and all of a sudden now they can do it. Again, probably different explanations, but also probably they've matured and they're ready for it as well in themselves. So don't panic too much if your child is behind or even you. There's always time. There's always ways to grasp that. I've known students who couldn't. I knew a student who couldn't read, and he couldn't read for years and years. He was well beyond the window. They say there are these certain windows, and they used to say, I hope they're not saying it anymore, but they probably are, that if you didn't start reading by a certain age, you would never read. And they actually did say this to this student. I was in the meeting with the parent, the counselor, the teacher, the principal. There were other people from the school, and the consensus was this student will never read anything beyond a stop sign or maybe a fast food menu. Those were their exact words. And it's just not true. The student started to read, and once they started to read, more and more they just loved reading and enjoyed it more and more, and they started by turning the pages of a book and not really reading it. Parents would tell me, I was tutoring the student, and parents would say, thank you for the book you got for his birthday. He's reading it every night, but he's not really reading it. He's just turning the pages and kind of making up his own story. That's great. He's interested in it, and eventually he started to read, and as I say, he became a very good reader. There were other problems with writing and things, but so not everything turned around all at once, but over time, more and more a student can learn. I've seen this with math. I saw it with a math student who struggled, many math students actually, but some particular cases where they were really, I will never get this. I will absolutely never be able to do this. And eventually, not only do they do it, but sometimes they do it incredibly well. With the reader I was talking about, I should mention that they were well past the window and they were almost a teenager, I think, when they finally started to read. And uh, it statistically shouldn't have happened, I suppose, but I think that all of the lessons that the school was giving him and the parents were helping him and I was helping him, they were getting in the brain. They were getting in there. It was sort of the drip, drip, drip idea. We just weren't seeing the results. So that it was happening, and then all of a sudden it flooded out, and it took a little while for him to get up to reading level, but suddenly you started reading, and then more and more and more. So it can happen. Keep that in mind. Not every student learns at the same pace. They don't all reach the same goals at the same time. And some students are excellent in one arena and really awful in another arena. And you say, why can't you get this? You're so good over here. Why can't you? Well, again, we're all different. We have different, and at some point it could happen if they keep trying. At some point they might make their own connection. They might find the overlap that triggers this other subject, and all of a sudden they can take off. So never give up. That's the message, I guess. I love this quotation. It makes perfect sense to me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Clicking on the notifications helps too. Yeah, keep the comments coming in. You can always email me if you're interested in setting up a free information meeting to see if tutoring is right for you or your child. Let me know. Send me an email and I can send you some possible days and times. We can jump on Zoom. If you're local, of course, we can meet at the big table back here. You can see it's a bit messy. I've got all my papers spread out working today, and we can just discuss it. There's no obligation, and sometimes there's some tips I have just in that free information meeting that helps people, even if they don't start tutoring. All right, it is Ron from L.T.L Tutoring Central. Have a beautiful day. Keep learning, keep having fun. Bye bye for now.